What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. You know what that is. That's where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We're in the building. We are in our first Friday of April. It is the 5th of April on recording day, but whenever you consume it, we promise you it's going to be rough, rugged, and raw. It's where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. Today's episode is going by the title of Shake Things Up. You don't want to miss this because it's going to be fun. Once in a lifetime type situation, there's an earthquake in New Jersey was the motivation, but then sports, business, and entertainment also will back up this doggone title. We about to shake things up. No further ado, boys and girls, cats and rats, dogs, frogs, anybody and everything in between, all animals, get yourself a cup of coffee and get ready for the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Let's go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Cause this is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy, B Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball Hog, aka the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go, 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 go.
Yes, once again, it's on, man. You know what it is. We got to shake things up, man. Let's start here about the earthquake. Because I told you we're a little bit delayed, and I told you we had an earthquake. I know initially you're probably thinking, man, this dude is trying to find any explanation whatsoever with why he is behind this morning, but it was true. It can be verified. I got a text, and it says a 4.8. There's a real earthquake in New Jersey, my brother. So
I need verification. Any of our listeners out there in New Jersey, I need verification. I've heard lies. B's always late. He comes back, and now his man says, "Sorry, boss, there was an earthquake." I mean, come on, man. Let's figure something else out, man. It was an earthquake.
That reminds me, I was in
there was college. A tsunami in the Middle Coast, and that's why I still made it on time. We had a tsunami this morning in the Middle Coast.
Hey, man, but you know, you like Michael Jordan in the flu game, baby. You deliver. That's how you do. But it reminds me that I was in college. I was supposed to drive somewhere for a few days, and I was riding with somebody, and the dude got literally hit by a train. And sometimes it's better to just lie when the truth seems so far-fetched. One of our linemen, Big John Wagner, he survives, and he's alive, and we still laugh about it, but he got hit by a train. So the person who I was supposed to go see was like, really? Why didn't you just say you didn't want to come? You tell me your ride got hit by a train, but it was true. And this is true. We had an earthquake in New Jersey. So for anybody in New Jersey, New York area, make sure that you chime in and let us know that you are okay. But we got the big folks.
Doesn't famously only suffer a torn ACL from getting hit by the train?
Torn ACL. He was messed up for a while. I mean, he was messed up for.
He played again though, right?
Yeah, but he was playing chicken with the train, and what he didn't realize is while he was off the tracks in time, the train extends beyond the track and the force and all of that. So it was a lesson in physics.
Wasn't he with Big Rosenthal?
It was a whole bunch of offensive linemen, a drunken night, and yeah, he played chicken.
Don't drink by the train tracks.
Don't drink by it. That's it. I think that's a fair rule. I think that's the rule to live by. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But sometimes when you tell the truth, man, it doesn't seem even possible. It doesn't seem credible, but that's the truth. It was an earthquake in New Jersey. And so that was our initial motivation.
Again, still looking for third-party verification for anybody out there in the podcast world.
Y'all back me up, man. Let them know it was an earthquake. It was surreal, man. I'm working from home and you hear the doggone house shaking. It was surreal. But we're gonna shake things up too, because in this same week, we had the resurgence where it seemed like it had been dormant for years, maybe even decades. We had a resurgence in a rap beef this week. I don't know when the last time we've had a rap beef significant enough to be worthy of conversation.
It's more of a pillow fight, but okay.
You going pillow fight. But we have two of the top lyricists. And one of them being Kendrick Lamar in his recent song, Let's Get It, says, ain't no top three. It's just top me. And top three, lyrically, I think it's widely assumed and accepted. The top three lyrically would be Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. Fair to say. Of contemporary, newer artists, right? I don't want to leave out the older artists. So I guess J. Cole took issue with that. He fired off. His diss track is 7 minutes. What did you think of the beef? Do you think it's much to do about nothing? Did they achieve true rap beef status? Before we hop into sports, business, and entertainment, beyond the beef, but this is at the core of entertainment. Hip-hop influences all that we do. Rap beef means that we all got to pause and listen to each bar and analyze where they're going with it. And you know what it is, man. We believe in controversy. We believe in competition. So let's shake things up. Who won? I'm assuming this is round one, and I'm assuming they're going to go with a whole bunch more songs and verses and direct and sneak disses. But who won? Round one. Fight.
Let me first say this. I have to blame it on I gotta blame it on today's athletes. LeBron, you gotta take some of this.
Okay. Now listen. You blame your boy LeBron?
Cam Newton, you had to take some of this. Westbrook, you had to take some of this. Because the heroes today of the youth are doing interviews with skirts on and merces. Big,
that's a man bag, bro. And the skirts, that's just
that's
a
Easter hats. Big Easter hats.
They stay off Easter hats, man.
Scarves. All this stuff. So these are guys that have proven their toughness, right? Inside and out. So then you get these real moist ass rapping dudes, right? Which I like J. Cole, I like Kendrick Lamar, but they
so much so that you call them moist ass rap dudes. Okay.
From a toughness standpoint, right? From a toughness standpoint. So he said, hey, look, I got a merce. I got a scarf. Huh? I can wear a skirt too. So I can do a rap beef and be considered taken seriously. Neither one of you guys can fight, right? Nobody's tough. Neither
but they're fighting with the pen. They're fighting with the lyrics, man.
Cheeky Black just got in the building. He's a big J. Cole fan. He's a big fan. He might think he's tough, so I don't want to insult our listeners. But you guys aren't tough. Let that. I like enjoy. You have nice raps, positive-ish. It's nice. It's good. It's easy listening. I can play it a lot of times. I can play it by the pool and not really have to cringe too often. You know what I'm saying? You got good, friendly rap. Don't leave that tough stuff for other guys, man. Leave that tough talk.
So, all right, so you're not going to give me a winner. I mean, but you got to give a winner. At the end of the day, even if it's a pillow fight, somebody wins the pillow fight. If it's just arm wrestling, somebody wins.
J. Cole had the whole song, right? So he did a whole song, and Kendrick just had one lyric that was kind of sort of indirectly throwing a shot. He said, that's just me. I'm the best. Everyone thinks they're the best. So I don't know that he's saying that you suck. He's just saying there's no top three. It's just me. I don't know. That's not, I don't know. I'm going to say that was just a lyric. I think he poked the bear and the bear woke up. So it's not over. It'll come back. And I hate to admit I'm going to listen to the song.
Not only we're going to listen, we are going to analyze, and that's what we do. You got to love competition. If you don't love competition, this ain't the place for you. Because we believe in it. In sports, business, and entertainment, let's compete. Let's get on this line and do what we do. What's up, Glass Bar? He asked if we are. All right, yes, I am. Glass Bar, I need you to confirm if you are in Jersey that indeed we had a earthquake here. Doing good, man. Appreciate you, Henry Davis, man. We are good. We are healthy. We are on and popping, but we got to get into this, shake things up. The earthquake has inspired me to really look into this. I want to know who the audience thinks won round one And maybe it ain't even round one. Maybe they're just warming up. Maybe this is the pregame of Kendrick Lamar versus J. Cole. We'll see if my guy Drake gets in, because that's the other one in the big three. He's been sitting in the wings just waiting. We'll see whether or not he hops into this, man. But you gotta acknowledge that indeed it exists. That type of competition brings us to, because maybe you got, people might want to throw a veteran in there. Jay-Z's still alive, right? How do we dare not include him? There are a lot of lyricists still alive. Nas is still alive. But when they're talking about this big three, they're thinking contemporary. It brings me fast forward to when we think of shaking things up, where this whole March Madness, where on the women's side, where the competition has taken us. And I guess I should have acknowledged, because I didn't welcome you properly from the Middle Coast. I'm in the building, and you got none other than our boy, who shall be respected intergalactically and always acknowledged as the Big Flow Show, is in the building. Unfortunately, ETP is traveling the universe. Yeah. But we all stopped what we were doing.
He's smart. In. He got out of there before the earthquake. He didn't come over here where there was a tsunami. He's probably somewhere safe, like the West Coast or
where is there safe? I don't know, man. Where is safe anymore?
Canada.
It's one of those situations where when you're sitting there and something that unexpected happens, you realize just how vulnerable we are to a whole bunch of things. But I digress. When it comes to March Madness and these women, the women have stolen the show. Not just by way of the headlines, because there's a lot of headlines, we're going to get into them. Let's shake things up in terms of who is really the valuable in terms of a value proposition, who is the more valuable of the two, men's versus women's March Madness. In a very recent terms is when we got March Madness even be used in the women's game. They weren't allowed to even use it. But now that they are considered March Madness, I would argue that the women's March Madness tournament thus far has held our attention a lot longer and for a lot more substantive reasons than the men's tournament.
Facts.
And if I were to say that and I compare it to the viewership, there's 12.3 or 12.6 or something like that viewers that watched the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reece experience.
Mm-hmm.
That experience drew in more eyes than every NBA game except one last year. They broke every record known to mankind. And because we're dealing with this, let's shake things up. And we've got this idea of Kendrick versus Lamar with Drake in waiting. We've got this idea of thinking of who's at the top of the list when we start listing the best. We've got this idea of the superheroes and the villains. Like, who would you rank as the top superhero? I mean, I would say I would go with Superman, but I could see where people would argue Batman, Spider-Man.
I'm kind of one of those peripheral guys. Like I'm more of a Wolverine guy, X-Men. I mean, hell, my son's middle name is Xavier. We don't mess around in this house, right?
Okay.
So we don't mess around. So I've always been a Wolverine fan, not the Michigan Wolverines. Shut your mouth if that's what you think and watch your mouth. But I'm saying Wolverine was always the baddest man to me in the superhero thing. But you got to go in the top three. I would say the most votes you're going to get is going to be Batman, Superman. Then some people might say Spider-Man. I'm partial if you don't have superpowers though. So like you need to have superpowers.
All right. So now that's your criteria.
Gotta have.
And the reason I bring that up is because when I'm watching these women and you hear the debates, a whole bunch of men that have never watched women basketball before, I've been telling y'all for years on this platform too, women's college basketball is the best thing going. I've been saying that because it's competitive, and from a teaching standpoint, if you have a young player, they're playing the game the right way. I've been saying that. But now we got all these Johnny-come-latelys. That's a part of that 12+ million TV viewership number that registered after the Iowa and LSU game.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the debates, most of them very lazy debates that we see in social media spheres. And what you realize is when people start ranking who's their best, everyone has different criteria. I would say that those who want to force you to believe that Caitlin Clark is undeniably the best when you start ranking these women college players, they're looking for a certain criteria.
She's the best. She's the best, man. She's the best.
When you say the best, why? Because she scored 41 points in that game. She was deadly. She had some really clutch shots. Not only she scored 41 points, but she had 12 assists. And
I've never seen a female basketball player ever that can drop the dimes that she does. Her dimes up there. It's not dudes. I don't see dudes. I don't know what guy you would say other than being Magic where you can go behind the back and hit the elbow, but like dropping dimes to where they need to go, where you makes you extend for the ball, one dribble off the thing so you can't get blocked or whatever. I've never seen a male or female do it better than she does it. Maybe I can think of some males that do it as good. I've never seen anyone do it better than she does.
See, I don't think that's her superpower. I think that's one of those just additives. I think her superpower is the clutch gene of being able to make shots at any time and being able to shoot from the logo. And you've got to like the scorer in her in order for you to put her at the top of the list when you're ranking superpowers, right? For me, like I want to see. I'm more of a Spider-Man guy because I just like the fact that
she's more Spider-Man. If you tell me the Hulk was your favorite, then I could see that something different. But if you're telling me somebody who's Spider-Man is a skill guy, right? He's a point guard. She's a skill person. The only thing she doesn't do is back people down. She can take you to the cup. She's crafty around the rim. She can shoot from here. She can shoot a shot from where I'm sitting right now. And there's not a basketball court within a mile from here. And I like her chances.
I'm still when I have to list and rank the women that we have seen over the last several weeks. To me, the freshman JuJu Watkins is still the best. She's a consummate triple threat. She's got a minus in every superpower category. There's nothing on the court that she can't do. She rebounds.
She's not silly with this.
She can shoot it.
She's not silly with it though. She's good. She's good, but it's not silly. Like it's not. Oh my God! Now I like how she can come down and she can get banged and get a good shot off while she's getting tapped. I like that. She's the strongest player. I put them on the same team together. She's just a freshman, so I got to put that into account. But if I'm
freshman, exactly. Thank you. And what normally, my bad, what normally improves over the several years while you're there is your jump shot.
Yeah. So I'm going to say she has more points than any freshman in the history of that. She is one shy of 900, though. How terrible is that? She has 899 points.
She's still
trash. One more point she couldn't get. That little and 900.
She missed a late free throw.
Oh, 899. That's so terrible. So painful. Wouldn't even look good on a tattoo. 900 look way better. But anyway, I think she's a real good basketball player. I don't feel like she had that much help. I don't feel like USC was.
Which, from a superpower standpoint, means
she needs to join the X-Men. That's the problem. She needs to join the X-Men. There's way more talent to help her over there. But I'm really impressed with JuJu. I'm really impressed with Bueckers.
Paige Bueckers was the surprise superhero of Women's March Madness. I've got to be honest.
Surprise?
Not the surprise in the sense that we knew Paige Bueckers was a killer. But she's come off, I think, not one but two knee injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Her stardom has sort of been subdued and taken a backseat while Caitlin has enjoyed the spot that we thought Paige Bueckers would have. As the darling of women's college basketball, that was Paige Bueckers' seat to enjoy. Caitlin Clark came in from nowhere. Let me have that.
Paige Bueckers, let me give her some credit, though. Paige Bueckers has come out. They had the worst start in program history. And they only have 5 losses, which just tells you how sweet they has to be. They had the worst start program history, and she's lost the next 5 best players on her team for the season. She's in the Final Four. And after her, the next 5, 5. So the dudes off the bench coming in. The next 5 best players are out for the season, and she's in the Final Four by herself. Like they say, I'm out here by myself. She's out there by herself, and she was beep, beep.
I mean,
She started off a little slow.
Injuries.
She was coming. She's superpowers.
It's true with the injuries, but it's still UConn. So even when you talk about those injuries, UConn is always fishing from the pond of the best women's
those do be facts.
in all high school. All the
it's
best
like
girls. They get the best.
It's like Bama. Their best receiver goes down, and the second best receiver wins the Heisman that year. So I get it. Those do be facts, but still.
Is the Barbie Angel Reece even in the mix when it comes to the top of the superheroes of women's college basketball? Because she's checking each one of the boxes. She's garnering the double teams in the paint. She's getting all the rebounds. And oh, by the way, she can't even blink without the camera right in her face because she has this villain status on her.
She got big ass eyebrows, like eyelashes like these here. She got caterpillars on her face. That's why I can't stay away from looking at her. The problem with Angel Reece and why I can't put her in the conversation as the best with JuJu, Caitlin, and Paige is she can get taken out of the game too easy. Iowa took her out of the game because they just sagged back and said shoot the 3. So she had somebody cover behind her, and then they had seemed like Caitlin was dropping back and just giving them the shot, and they took her out of the game. Matter of fact, if you watch that, did you watch the whole game?
Yes.
If you watch the game, LSU made a late run when she got fouled out because Iowa didn't know how to stop their team.
And it was a bad call. There was a bad call there that I think turned the game.
Kind of turned, but what I'm saying is it was getting to be scrappier around because she demands the ball and she wants the rock and they try to force it to her. They're not good at getting her the rock. I think they should do a much better job of getting her the rock.
I agree.
They sit there and they dribble forever, and then they're like, okay, you guys ready? On count of 3, I'm gonna throw her the ball. And like they need to do more, move the ball and spring it to her, let it go. The other girls were getting off. I don't know the girls' names on the team, but some of the other bigs were getting off when they opened up. But when they took her out, they didn't know how to play defense against a full team. They only knew how to play against stopping her from getting the ball. And for some reason, Mulkey never did anything to say, all right, this is what you're doing. We do have people that can beat you and take them out. But also, I have to note that Iowa played out of their minds. That one girl averages like 4 or 5 points. She scored 21. They did a lot of stuff.
It seemed like their night.
They stepped up.
Angel Reece can be seen, what it looks like, saying something to the effect to her head coach, Kim Mulkey, on her way back to the bench at one point.
Give me the fucking ball.
Yeah. I was going to try to say it.
I was trying to help you. I knew you didn't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? There's an earthquake and everything over there.
Yeah. But so she agrees with you in terms of making adjustments and figuring out how to get her the ball in a position where she could score, where she could then continue to be a threat. LSU didn't make many adjustments. So we have Iowa. Yeah.
She missed a lot, and then she doesn't get back on defense when she misses.
She is temperamental on the court. But you got to live and die with that. Because sometimes that same temperamental person is the spark plug.
They died. Because Caitlin Clark, which, look, when I first turned on the game, first couple plays, man, she was Bayou Barbie was stealing the ball. Caitlin was in there. She got 2 quick steals in the first early part of the game. I'm like, oh, boy, Caitlin's in trouble. She couldn't do anything. And I got to give Caitlin props. She adjusted. When Angel Reece would miss a shot, Caitlin would get it. Caitlin looks up the floor, and they always beat them back, and they would dart it up. Sometimes, these girls are missing layups, and I know that's why ETP gets mad at women's basketball. They miss way too many layups.
That has been the narrative for the men who are Johnny-come-latelys, not you, because you've watched it, but some of the Johnny-come-latelys over the last several days have taken issue with women's basketball for things like that. Or they'll miss a pass, or they'll miss. But at the end of the day, we do know there's a men's version of basketball and a women's version of basketball. And I can appreciate that while, no, they're not going to fly through the lane and dunk it to increase the probability that they make all their layups. But at the same time, I think, like, pound for pound,
it's the underbasket. It's good fundamental basketball. It's the under the basket stuff that gets a little bit sloppy and hard to watch. When the ball hits the rim, nobody jumps up and gets a nasty rebound. A lot of bad, awkward shots. Reminds you of like junior high basketball when they get under the basket. But I think that's just unfortunately women can't fly. They can't jump through the air like that. I know some volleyball girls that can get up, but a lot of them just are
On
getting
average,
rebound low.
there's a few women that can play above the rim, but
But on average, they stay. I like the way they handle the ball. I like the way they move the ball. I like the way they shoot the ball. Takes to the basket. They're entertaining. It's just that when it gets on the rim and it's time to rebound and go back up, it can get a little bit like.
well, 12 point and let's say 12 million plus people watched it. And before we get out of this segment, I'm going to ask anybody watching from a live audience standpoint the question. A, did you watch it? B, what do you think of the quality of women's basketball? And then C, where do you rank these superstars? Just like we got to, for me, I'm automatically putting Superman up top.
And then you got to go Caitlin Clark.
Then Caitlin Clark's your Superman.
She's the best.
In this case, Superwoman.
She's the best. Even if you don't want it. I don't even like the way the media is trying to overshine. Did you see Paige Bueckers? Did you see her interview on the ESPY or the thing? I got to go there. I got to take my head off to Paige. So Paige Bueckers won an ESPY.
Oh, about defending women,
black women. I thought that was during her moment. She spent the whole time talking about the fact that 80% of the awards are won by black women, but most of the coverage are for the white women that win it. And she just felt like she was going for it. I'm sure there's some people who probably roll their eyes about it, but she had an opportunity to sit there and take this moment for herself, or take it back to the locker room. So I think that was definitely good. But I tell you what, I can tell you more girls on basketball teams, at least by their number or who they are, who their stud is, than I can in the men's basketball. I don't know anybody who plays for Alabama. Purdue's got Edie. I think he's trash. I like Big Sexy for NC State, the big left tackle.
DJ Burns, yep.
I think he's good, but I think the two best players on those teams, right there, that neither one of them was going to play in the NBA.
Well, their best player is another DJ with guard, but DJ Burns is more notable.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, yeah, they're popular dudes. But in general, like in this Final Four, I don't really know anybody who plays for UConn or Bama or just know them like that. Like I know Paige Bueckers, but I don't know they were defending national champions, and I don't know UConn people like that. So a lot of the problem too is I was traveling and I was unable to control my own TV set, but that's a different conversation. And so I didn't get to see as much of the men's as I did with the women's. Luckily, I got to pick up more of that.
Yeah, but the more household names, if we're comparing men versus women right now, the two March Madness tournaments, the household names are on the women's side.
100%.
Right? And I think Zach Edey, there's an argument now because he plays so well, will eventually be a lottery pick. There's arguments that he won't be a lottery pick. DJ Burns, the best player and probably the most likable personality left on the men's side, probably won't get drafted. There's talks that he might play in the NFL. And so
I'd sign up for that. Although his arms, he got basketball arms though. He doesn't like this. All this in the middle. This is just lack of fitness. The arms, I don't know. I think he's got a couple of years of transformation.
Let's move on and transition from the women's basketball. I do like those comments. I appreciate it. You guys keep them coming. Have you guys watched any game? What do you think of the quality of women's basketball right now in its current state? And then who would you rank at the top of the list when we are comparing? Because at the end of the day, when we look at this rap beef that started us off in this Shake Things Up episode, everyone has their list. Everyone has their list. For me, J. Cole's up top. Then I'm going Drake. Then I'm going Kendrick. And I know that Drake sells more records and sells out more shows, but I just like J. Cole's flow. But there's a reason behind why we do it. Same thing with the superheroes. For me, JuJu Watkins is at the top of that list because she can do all things at all times. She's polished as a scorer. She moves so fluid. She's got a game that reminds me of a young Carmelo Anthony that cannot be defended. The best that you can hope, and this happened in her game versus UConn, is that she misses a few floaters. She's off a little bit. But you all have almost no chance whatsoever to play on-ball defense and have someone lock her up. Ain't no clamping her down. So that's why she's atop the list to me. Paige Bueckers has been playing out of her mind. Caitlin Clark is what we thought she was. A cold-blooded killer and a sniper. And Angel Reece, to me, is a consummate professional despite having all of this pressure. So that's how I would rank her.
I think
I'm going
Paige is
JuJu
really
first.
good. The thing about Paige is she doesn't have anything about her game that's different than what we've seen before. Like she is like a really good player that we've seen out there a bunch of times, really good. She'll go to WNBA and she'll be really good, but she's not going to do it. I'll say JuJu's got that mellow game. I say she's gonna come in there, be powerful, shoot things off balance, and do whatever. That's not something you see every day. Caitlin Clark has got the most unique game in women's basketball history, but I think we can agree. Whether you think it's the best, it's definitely the most unique. Nobody's shooting from the logo, and then the way that she can make you pay. If you don't close her out, she's killing you. She's probably killing you even if you close her out. And then if you do, her passes are so deadly and so on point. Never seen anything like that before. So that's why I feel like she's got the superpowers. Paige is just very good with the same skill set that other very good players have been. Would you agree with that?
Here's how I'm ranking. I'm going JuJu Watkins, Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, then Angel Reece. What's crazy is just like when we're talking about this rap beef, when we're ranking all of these superheroes, what's crazy is the best team, we haven't mentioned a single player on that team.
They don't need no mention. They don't care about what you got to talk about.
Like as a unit, they're just much more powerful. They got it all going on. They got it going on. But I'm going JuJu over Caitlin. And I know that might be a bit controversial, but when I watch her, I just don't think there's anything that she does that I would consider a negative aspect of her basketball game. She has the size, aggression, the fluidity. She can play with her back to the basket. She rebounds. She passes. In fact, her assist numbers would have been a lot higher if she had more help.
If they could finish, if y'all could just finish.
Did you just finish?
Messing up my assists.
So that's how I'm ranking them. How would you rank them? I'm going JuJu, Caitlin, Paige, then the Barbie. Where you going?
I don't know that I would go. It's a couple girls' names who I'm not very good with, but Barbie's is definitely in the 4 or 5 range. I mean, it's hard because it's in the women's game, it's so guard dominant. Unless you're like a 7-footer, you know what I mean, and like nobody can hold you down low. It's so guard dominant because of being able to shoot the jumper and create the shot and do whatever. So that kind of hurts Angel because again, like in that championship game where that was Elite 8 game, she was just basically held in check as far as I'm concerned. And you could do that to her. So she's far low. I got to go Caitlin Clark. I just so JuJu, very big fan. She's a freshman. If you take it if you say all players are created equal and we're just judging them there, I do think that JuJu probably is going to end up better. I don't know. Caitlin can shoot that damn thing. I don't know. When you can shoot that thing for the logo,
you can shoot that thing, baby.
She can shoot that thing, man.
And so, yeah, it's interesting. And I just like a player. I always like Melo because of the triple threat. So again, all of us come in subjectively and we look for things in a player that stand out to us. We look for things in a superhero that stand out to us. We look for things in terms of our rap favorites that stand out to us. And for me, it's JuJu Watkins triple threat. I did want to get quickly from the LSU game because there's been now a controversy. The Republican governor has essentially come out and said that they need to make it a required part of being on the team that their players be present and on the court during the national anthem. There's some controversy around it. They being LSU were going through their pregame routine and missed the national anthem.
So I was told that they walked out. That didn't happen?
They didn't walk out. They weren't on the court during the time.
Yeah.
And so the question is whether or not that in itself was its form of protest, which during some of the more notable protests, social justice protests, that was one way in which they protested. We're just not going to go out there during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And so because LSU wasn't there, it was interpreted that was a protest. The Republican governor from Louisiana has said that scholarships should be at stake if indeed it was a protest. And if it was not a protest going forward, it should be a requirement mandated by the head coach that the players should be on the court during the national anthem. It's patriotic. Let's make sure that we at least chime in on it, because
I mean,
the other
Monkey's
thing
a
was,
Trumper, I believe. The head coach is a Trumper, so I doubt it was a protest.
but the players might not necessarily have aligned with her political views. So the players
they
are the
might
ones,
not, yeah.
right?
She runs it like that, but I don't know. I don't think she would. I don't know. I don't think it was a protest. I didn't hear it was.
But do you think that the governor is right that we should force the players to be on the court, whether it's a protest or not? There's something symbolic about being there during the national anthem,
it's
and
funny.
that the players should be required to be there, because that's a different stipulation in terms of your grant and aid. There's nothing in there that says that you have to avail yourself to the national anthem. But now the governor is saying that there should be.
I just tell him shut up. But I don't. Here's the thing: is it didn't use. It became a tradition, like relatively recently. When you think of the history of college sports and sports, the teams used to be in the locker room when they did the national anthem, and then they would come out afterwards. I don't know what year it started, but it wasn't like it's in our lifetime, you and I lifetime, that it became something where people would come out and be a part of it. And I think the government paid for that. They started paying people, hey, why don't you come out and do this to show some patriotism? But if part of their warm-up was going on and it doesn't coincide with when the event decided to play the national anthem, those girls and that coach are there to win a basketball game, right? If they really want them to be part of the national anthem, it needs to line up with playing it, because they can play it whenever the hell they want to. It needs to line up with when LSU was planning to come out. So I think you should have a conversation. Again, I'm just assuming it's not a protest because I didn't hear about this till later. But assuming it wasn't a protest, you should talk to LSU and say, okay, you guys, everything's regimented and scheduled. This minute time, we're going to be here, and we're going to be back in the locker room. We're going to do this. You watch football teams. Some people run back in earlier than the other ones. Some people come out earlier. Everyone's got their different mark. So I just think that if their warm-up routine doesn't allow for that and the timing was off and they play the national anthem, I would say it's better than someone taking a knee as far as causing a stir. But if they were still in the locker room and you're playing it, then either wait for them to come out or get over it.
But similar to you saying that it's different or less offensive than someone taking a knee, when Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, it was finally captured and put in the limelight after several iterations of him taking the knee. Finally, someone saw it and put it on camera, and it became a big deal. And as Ciara said, what's up, Ciara? They have missed the national anthem because of their routine before, but now it has been made public. And so how dare the governor not use the opportunity to make something political? I'll go even further in an election year, but I'll go even further because after the game, and shout out to Flage, who spoke up and defended her teammate, but Angel Reece was asked a question that put her into tears. Now, because she was in the tears, for me, I'm not as bad as Acho, right? The ESPN guy was saying, if you're going to be tough, you got to be tough. I don't think you have to do that. The tears were because she was saying that outside of the basketball part, she's fine with being a villain. Outside of basketball, she's received death threats. Outside of basketball, she has been sexualized online. Outside of basketball, she has been the recipient of racist tropes and some of the vitriol that is in our political sphere. So I hated that this too was made sort of political, but it does bring us to the conversation when you see a 20, 21-year-old, she's in her fourth year, maybe 22-year-old, I don't know how old Angel Reece is, but early 20s for sure, responding in that way in such an emotional response. While I think Angel Reece and her bravado and her willingness to go out there and, dare I say, play like the boys. How often do you see when a man dunks on you and on the men's side of the basketball, they're going to stare you up and down? How often do you see when someone steals the ball to half court, they're going to make a fool out of you. How often do you see, hell, you can go to the local YMCA and see a whole bunch of dudes, pickup dudes playing, and you're going to see a lot of bravado and a lot of ish talking. So it seems like there is a double standard when it comes to Angel Reece. I think some of her stuff is a bit aggressive, but aggressive is really at the core of a lot of great basketball players. The only thing different is she's a woman. So to see her in that moment and her response to that question, how emotional she was, I want to at least open it up real quickly. What did you think about it? I mean, she was full-fledged tears. She was full-fledged, and some people said that she was, playing victim. And as Acho was trying to say, is that you don't get to play victim if you put yourself out there and voluntarily raise your hand to be the villain. What do you think about that?
It's tough. I mean, she's still a woman. Being an athlete doesn't take that away from you. Women tend to be a little bit more in touch with their feelings, so they're gonna express their feelings that they're feeling and not try to hide and suck it in. Whereas a man on there might be trying to be like, I'm not gonna cry, I'm gonna be tough and suck it up. I mean, she just lost the game. They were defending champions and they lost the game, and they lost the game on a national stage, and she lost to the team that they defeated last year, and everyone wants to call it revenge match. And I saw people online saying that it's karma and all kind of different things. Man, she lost. When I get knocked out the playoffs in high school, every time it happened, I cried. I didn't cry like she did probably, but a tear came down my face because I was mad that the season was over and all the hard work ended in failure. We didn't like that. That's how much blood, sweat, and tears we put into, and then people always say blood, sweat, and tears, right? That's in everyone's mouth when you talk about sports. So, I mean, yeah, she's had the death threats. Now, maybe not mention them, but you in all sports, in all aspects, you put a microphone in someone's face when they're just going through this emotional release of finishing a battle, going to war with somebody, having to face the fact that your season's over, her college career is likely over, she's doing different things there. And you stick a microphone in their face, you ask them questions, and you expect them to answer it the way that you and I are answering it today when it's bright and early. Had your cup of coffee, had an hour to prepare before and understand what we're going to do and be of sound mind. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of why you put the microphone in there, to get the raw emotion. And now we get it and people criticize it, but they're looking for it. Everyone wants to turn this into a black team versus white team, the white team won type of stuff. I don't want to get involved in that. I think Caitlin Clark did a really good job last year of deflecting some of that shit and making it not about that. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. And she's trying to play victim, and they got what they deserve because they didn't come out for the anthem. And this is good conquered evil because of whatever. I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, she's a young lady. She's a human.
I think Acho's take on it was ridiculous. I like this say, Matt Smalls. I appreciate it. He said Acho would have told on Harriet Tubman. I think Acho's take on it was ridiculous, but I think where he was coming from is before the game, in the pre-game press conference, the presser, the lead up to all the things that led to the 12+ million people.
She's running. She's gonna run tonight. I'm sorry, that tickled me, Marth. That tickled me. They're gonna run tonight.
So she out here running.
Hey, if anybody feels that way about me, don't say it because it'll hurt my feelings so bad.
Yeah, right.
That'll hurt my feelings if you feel that way. Just keep it to yourself. I apologize.
If
I ever you think I would have told.
But to take a different approach with the same debate, what would have been a more thoughtful way to have that debate is you got to acknowledge and admit that before the game, it was Angel Reece who said, look, yes, Caitlin Clark and I don't hate each other. We're friends. We would hang out. But between these lines, ain't no friends. Angel Reece is the one who said it. And I think going into the game, that's why more than 12 million people watched. There was a hero and a villain. Who you chose to be hero and villain just really depends on who you are. And in this political climate, as we see people shaking things up with some of the attack ads, as we see people shaking things up with all the social media buzz, as we see people shaking things up when it comes to their ideologies, it just depends on where you came into this when you watched the game, but there was a hero and a villain. And so I would have loved for Angel Reece not to have been as emotional, not because she should be exempt from the raw emotions. I just hate that the people that put her in the frame of villain, I feel like they just get. Yeah, you let him. Right, you gave him one. You gave him one. Now, the substance of why she was crying. How dare I say you shouldn't be emotional about being the target of death threats? How dare I say you shouldn't be emotional about being over-sexualized in social media spaces? How dare I say you shouldn't be emotional about receiving racist types of communications? I get the fact that you had right and reason to be emotional, but because of her approach to saying between these lines, I just wish you would have took that same angle when it came to, I'm not going to give y'all the satisfaction of seeing me cry. Now, that's different from Acho's take on it. I think Acho's take was from some really dark place that he needs to go seek counseling. But there's some there that he needs to uncover for himself. But from a killer instinct perspective, I hate that some of those people that cast her out to be the villain got the satisfaction of seeing her tears. Because that is what is playing over and over in their mind, not understanding that her tears had nothing to do with the game. It had everything to do with all of the stuff that she should not have to deal with that's outside of the game.
I say to hell with them. Angel Reece, do you. You've done so much for the basketball game. Villain, whatever, how blah, blah, blah. Just like Notre Dame, right? You love us or hate us, tune in, but you're going to tune in, right? And so
Sure.
She's the villain. She was the villain last year. People got so mad because she clapped. But you know what?
Because she did this to her finger.
But and what they don't want to say is that, notice Caitlin didn't do none of that slick shit, though. She just walked off the court. She started that shit. She's the one who was like, You can't see me. I don't know.
Against Van Lith. Against Van Lith in Louisville. When she
when she did that shit, she started doing everything. Everyone loved that and did whatever. And Angel Reece did it back. But you know what? Just like the rap game, the beef is good for the thing, because people go out and listen to Kendrick Lamar, people will listen to J. Cole, and they're going to want to know who won. We love winners and losers in this thing. We love the winners and losers in this country. So all of this, the crying, the stand, it's all great for basketball. There's going to be a few goofies out there that wear the New Balance, the New Balance that you're talking about, that are going to not watch. I'm not going to watch girls basketball anymore because LSU didn't come out the locker room. You didn't watch it before anyhow. Nobody is going to do all this stuff. Go wear your little New Balance or your Air Monarchs and shut up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all great for the sport. What they've been doing for the last 2 years has been fantastic for basketball.
Yeah. And it has been. Let's quickly, because we're gonna pivot out of women's basketball. But before we get out of there, Angel Reece has announced that she is going to turn pro and go to the WNBA. You saw Gino Ariema, and I probably mispronounced his last name, but the UConn coach was very adamant in suggesting to JuJu, hey, ain't nothing left to do here. Get on out of here. Basically saying, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight that fight.
You should go to the league. If I was you, I'd go ahead and go to the league.
Yeah.
I don't think, can you come out early in women's sports?
Yeah.
I didn't think you could.
Well, yeah, why not? I don't think the WNBA has anything they're collective bargaining at. I think it's similar to the NBA. Okay. So I think she can, I believe, after the first year.
JuJu, get you a couple more books, though. Get a couple more years of these books. Next year, Caitlin will be gone, Angel will be gone, and it'll be you and Bueckers is coming back. So you and Bueckers can go and do you, and go and get some more books.
All right, but I got to get out of here with the last one is Van Lith. Haley Van Lith, who transferred from Louisville. And we said that when she transferred, the rich just keep getting richer. We just knew that this was going to put LSU in position to win. And everyone thought that if you look at the preseason rankings. And LSU did have a great season, but they came in, I think, as the 3 seed. So it wasn't that surprising that they didn't make the Final Four. They had a good season, not a great season. But when you look at the game, when LSU loses to Iowa, Caitlin Clark is having a field day on Haley Van Lith. Haley Van Lith has announced that she is entering the transfer portal. She did a one-year bid at LSU. I don't think it worked out very well. And she will now be entering her name into the transfer portal to be moving on.
She found out the grass is absolutely not greener. Sad.
Yeah. And she found out that when you are assigned the task to defend Caitlin Clark, all eyes on you. And it got bad. It got really bad. It got ugly. At one point, I was ready to just throw in the towel. It's supposed to be exhibition. She was killing Haley Van Lith. Killing her. Haley Van Lith is going to take her ball and go home. That's what I don't like about the transfer portal. After that game, I just don't think I can announce that I'm going to transfer. I feel like there's just unfinished business. The whole world saw me get torched, put gasoline thrown on me. I'm drenched in it. They threw a doggone match on me. I'm on fire. There's no way I can leave. It just seems a little too, what you call it, moist. It just seems too soft from a competitive standpoint.
Some help. She needed to get that girl some milk. Get her some help. She needed some help. That girl can shoot going left. They say you want to drive. Galen's such a matchup nightmare. They say you want to drive her left when she's finishing the basket because she misses more often that way. But she likes to go left when she shoots her jumper. So you got to drive and ride her left and hope you don't foul her, because she's going to pull back and kill you with that. And she doesn't even have to set her feet. She don't even have to stop her movement. She can keep drifting left.
Oh, she's crazy. She's crazy with it. The other thing that happened that I want to at least bring up, because I thought it was controversial, Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame, the sensational freshman, probably the second best freshman in the country, very comfortably in spot number 2 behind JuJu, but still, she was an amazing player this year. Notre Dame is playing Oregon State to make it to the Elite Eight, in the Sweet 16 to make the Elite Eight. Last Friday after our show, I went and watched the game. They take her out because of a nose ring. Nose ring gate. She played the whole season with a nose ring. They take her out because of a nose ring. I thought people would be a little more up in arms about that. It just seemed a little sensitive to the nature of, what did that have to do with the game? The NCAA after the game said that, there's supposed to be an emphasis at the Sweet 16 level that there will be no jewelry. But if I've let you play with this all year, and at that point you played with it all tournament, we're at the Sweet 16 mark at this point. The 4 minutes that she was out of the game with the managers trying to find some special tool to get her nose ring out, I thought that there was some undertones there. It'd be the equivalent of you, I don't know. I didn't think it didn't seem to be in the spirit of let them play. Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to, there's some social issues there that I thought that people would have talked about a little bit more. Well, who knows? Nose ring gate, I'm going to call it. But you're going to take somebody out because they got on. What does that have to do with their play? So sometimes, man, the Zebras, I think, do too much. I thought the referees did too much in that case. And I thought that there would be a lot more backlash because of it. Because you're looking for something. She was told by one of the referees before the game that all she had to do was cover it up, put a Band-Aid over it. And then another referee came in and said, no, you can't play. You got to come out of the game. And so the managers are working feverish. They're going crazy trying to get this nose ring out. And so, it took away from the game. It took away from the momentum. And that was, I think, one of the things that led to Oregon State winning the game, but then just to lose to South Carolina. The other transfer portal news that we got to get into is Bronny James. Bronny James has both entered the NBA draft and the transfer portal. It was first reported that he was going into the transfer portal. He then announced earlier today by way of social media that he is also putting his name into the NBA draft. I know Bronny Sr., LeBron James, is your man. Your man's in there. But I need to know the over-under because this is shake things up. That's shaking things up, baby. Less than a week removed from telling everybody about the transfer, you've now announced that you're going to go into the NBA draft, at least put your name out there while maintaining your eligibility. Do you see it possible that he would be in the NBA next year? And if so, we know that that's going to be, probably going to be on LeBron James' team. But is there a possibility that Bronny James gets his shot? He had a pedestrian freshman year after coming back from a major health scare. What are the chances, man?
I think right now he's projecting out about a 3rd round draft choice.
For those who don't know, there's only two rounds in the NBA draft.
About 3rd round, about a mid-3rd round draft choice. If I'm being fair,
Not just there, mid-3rd round.
Middle of the road 3rd round draft choice. I don't know, man. We just tried too hard. I don't know what they think. He's pretty good basketball player, but he's not special. There's so few people get drafted in the NBA, man. It's the most elusive, most elite club of all professional sports in the world. Right? You got 2 rounds of 30, however many teams it is.
Yeah, and most first rounders don't even make the team. I think if you're not a lottery pick, chances are you don't even make the team. But at the same time,
like, you're gonna be hooping in Egypt.
Hey, brother,
Ronnie, you're gonna be hooping in Egypt, and they don't have good heart doctors over there.
The man's name is LeBron James, so he's got a chance.
Finish college, have fun, go have some fun. Go to a few, join a fraternity. I think y'all would take him. Y'all would take the Qs. The bros take him. Y'all would take LeBron. Yeah, come on, become one of the bros. What's your rush? You're a brilliant.
I've heard from you in a while, man. I like that suggestion, Bronny. There you go. Go to Duquesne. The rumor is that
play there, man. Go get there, get some points, run around Pittsburgh, man. Hang out with the team. You're a grillionaire already. What are we doing? What are we rushing for?
I don't know.
But
that's his dream, right? Because
that's mine too. That's my
dream. Of course, Rich Paul is going to be his agent, Clutch Sports. Rich Paul has said that now, man, Bron James wants to make sure Bronny's got his own story. He wants to write his own narrative. He's his own man. And so
his own story. LeBron James graduates college. It's a great story. Fantastic story. That's what you need to be thinking about. Graduate college. Maybe you'll be an NBA player one day. It's fine. Trying to play with your dad. Your dad didn't use his eligibility. See if he can petition to come back. Nowadays, they got 39-year seniors. Maybe you got a chance to.
Not the 39-year seniors. Last but certainly not least, man, the NBA playoff jockeying is fully underway. People are trying to figure out where they're going to be. They try not to be in that play-in. We got about 6 or 7 games left, depending on where you are in your schedule. I know that your Bulls. I don't know if you want to make an announcement about them. I think they've made it in.
Yeah, they clinched the play-in spot. Golden State hasn't even clinched the play-in spot.
I mean, Golden State and the Lakers.
Oh, well, who brought them up? Why are you talking about my Lakers?
I'm just saying they both jockeying for last place, basically. They were fighting for.
Why you ruining my point?
It's either last or DFL, dead effing last. But
all we need is Houston to lose one more game, and it's over. Houston lose one more game, and then they can't be in the play. They got to win the rest, and then they can mess up everybody.
Can anybody beat Boston? Boston over there, it's the only juggernaut in the NBA, so it seems. They're in a league of their own. Everybody else is literally jockeying for position right now as we wind down in the home stretch of the NBA regular season, getting ready for the playoffs. The play-in structure is this: 7 plays 8. Whoever wins that becomes the 7 seed. And then 8 is going to play, the loser of that game plays the winner of 9-10. 9-10 loser goes home immediately. And then the winner has to play for the 8th spot. I love the format.
Me too.
I love the format. But man, it's dangerous to be in that 7, 8, 9, 10 spot because you could be out here.
Keep fighting. Hopefully that load management help you down the stretch. Maybe you got some sorry games down the stretch. I don't know. I'd be remiss if I didn't stop and say, remember we were sitting back here wondering who's going to be better off, Milwaukee or Boston after the trade?
It seems laughable now.
That didn't age well, huh? I mean,
it didn't age well. Well, we didn't know that they were going to get rid of Adrian Griffin and bring in Doc Rivers. We didn't know that. Yeah. We couldn't foresee that. I'm just
you got to give Doc credit. He got the same amount of losses in half the time. So, I mean, there's that. There's that.
I'm supposed to give him credit for that.
Hey, he's matched your loss total in half the amount of games. You got to give him credit for that. Yeah. We was judging wins. Nobody said. Nobody said. He was doing color commentary before he got brought into that game.
Yeah,
So
I hope Doc figures it out. I hope Milwaukee figures it out and is a formidable opponent in the
next year,
playoffs, but I'm not willing to bet on it. All of a sudden, the 76ers have turned it around and Joel Embiid is back. Unfortunately, they are on a winning streak and included a win last night against my Miami Heat. So that's why I say unfortunately in a very important game is Miami's trying to fight too to stay out of that 7th spot. And so you got all of these teams jockeying for position. So moral of the story is tune in. We didn't even mention March Madness on the men's side. Just give me your prognosis. Give me your prediction. Who wins? You got Zach Edey and the Purdue Boilermakers playing DJ Burns and NC State. Who wins that one?
NC State.
NC State, and we're going to create a bigger and longer version of this Burns train because we all on it right now, man, as he continues to rack up these national NIL deals. And so we shall see. I think he's the only one that could even pretend to get Zach Edey out of position on the block. So let's see if that is a good game. Then in the other matchup in the Final Four on the men's side, you got UConn and Bama. I know who you're going to pick. Let's figure out by how many. And Nelson's a good player.
By
15. Are they beating the brakes off of everybody? I think they're just waiting to figure out when they're going to schedule their celebration parade. But everybody's sort of giving it to UConn. First time ever that on the men's and the women's side, you have a tandem, 2 versions of men and women. Both NC State and UConn men's and women's programs are both in the Final Four. So shout out to both of those campuses. I'm sure it's lit, as they used to say. I don't know if the young people still say that. And it's also lit in South Orange, baby. Shout out to the South. I was going to say South Orange Pirates. That's not their name. They're the Seton Hall Pirates. That campus happens to reside in South Orange. I saw them there at Bunny's last night having a good old time. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I went and had me a birthday celebration.
Happy belated birthday to you.
Hey, thank you, my brother. Hey, man, it's still Aries season. That's why I still got on the hat. And this episode of Shake Things Up, it's on the heels of us having a white party in April where it's been raining, it's been cold, and spring has been very reluctant to be sprung. We had us a white party. Why? Because as tastemakers, you decide when you wear white. And as a ball player, you decide when it's time to make plays. You decide when you got to get you a rebound. You decide when you need you a turnover. You decide even for Angel Reece when you want to cry. But you are the ones to shake things up. March Madness has led us to this beautiful April where some decisions will be made and some stars will shine. On the women's side, I don't think you can pick against South Carolina, but I'll give you an opportunity to. You got NC State playing South Carolina. Who you got?
Pass.
And whoever took the field in South Carolina versus the field, you a damn fool. I think South Carolina is also waiting to get there.
I can't tell you not one of their players, but they're going to win the championship. They're going to win it all.
And they have a phenomenal coach in Don Staley. In the other matchup,
they got the big Mutombo. What's her name?
Yes. I can't think
girl
of her name. From Brazil.
She's the only one I know.
I can't say it. I can't think of her name. Only because you asked, and I just turned dark.
Mutombo.
Then in the other matchup of the Final Four, you've got the matchup we all been waiting on. You've got the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight. We're about to shake things up. You've got Superman versus Batman. Or is it Spider-Man versus Wolverine? I don't know what you got, but you got a Goliath.
It's one of them versus one of them.
You got a Goliath matchup. Caitlin Clark, who has been given the GOAT status by a lot of people, just happens not to be me. Versus the woman who was almost certain to have the GOAT status before her injuries that has resurged as a name in women's college basketball, but even more broadly in all of basketball. You got Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Who you got?
I gotta go Caitlin Clark. I still think she's Superman or Wolverine, whichever one you want to say is the best superhero. I am very interested because I do think Paige Bueckers is a little bit more mobile than what she's been seeing, and she's got a little more length. So I'm hoping she could give her. I'd like to see her give her a little hard time on her three. That'd be interesting to see. And I don't know about this one thing about Caitlin Clark. I don't know about her D. She played his own defense against LSU. She kept dropping back. She wasn't really D'ing up anybody of note. I haven't seen her. She didn't cover JuJu,
That wouldn't have ended well.
so I don't know if she would cover. She's 6'1". How tall is Bueckers?
I think Paige Bueckers is right around 6 feet.
Okay.
She's a lengthier. She's really thin, but
long,
I think
though.
I think she's a taller guard.
So I would like to see her go head to head on defense, on the defensive side, or and see who she can stop. But I still got to go Iowa on this. Only thing about Iowa, I don't think anybody can be South Carolina. It's kind of unfair. Does that switch topics a little bit? Does that mess up her legacy? Is Caitlin Clark is going to finish college with all this stuff, but she's never going to win a championship?
Not at Iowa. No one expected her to be in the final.
Why did she go to Iowa?
Well, that's why I love this matchup too, because you've given Caitlin Clark another reason to have a chip on her shoulder, because it has been noted that despite the fact that she was ranked very high, UConn, who stays fishing in that pond of highly rated high school basketball players, girls basketball players, never recruited her. While she made it known widely that was her dream school, UConn never showed any interest whatsoever. So Gina Auriemma is and the UConn and Paige Bueckers and the
Shame
UConn
on
team is going to face a bitter Caitlin Clark with something to prove. Should have said that before I asked who you got. Now who you got, knowing that information.
I still have Caitlin Clark. I think they're going to win this game, but I think they're going to get pistol whipped by South Carolina, and the story's going to end poorly.
I think so too. But look, you die on your sword when you play a team that versatile at every position and that well coached. And I think in order for them to win it, they'll go 43-0. I think they win it all. They're like 43, something crazy like that.
Yeah, because Mutombo hit that really nice three to beat LSU. She's pretty though, so
she's a very beautiful woman.
I could give a hard time to a big pretty woman.
But yeah, man. So you got two. I think Paige Bueckers is right like 6 foot, 5'11". So she's a taller guard. So it should be a good game. I'm actually gonna go the other way. I'm going Paige Bueckers. I think UConn wins because of Gino. The fact that Gino's even in the Final Four with this team with all of those injuries is one of the most amazing accomplishments of his really storied career with this team. And he talked about how special this year is. So I think the ride continues. I'm going Paige over Caitlin to make it to the championship and face the ultimate Goliath in South Carolina and probably get pissed off.
You know what? I would hate if I was Caitlin. If Caitlin Clark wins a championship, you got to give her so much credit for the gauntlet she had to fight to get through there. When they talk about Jordan, 2 years, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, and who they had to play and who they got to go. She's going against potential Hall of Fame basketball players in the WNBA, and she had to get there. So, and then going against this dream team with if she wins the championship with that squad she's got, you got to go.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want Auriemma to be standing in between me and my destiny if I was her.
No, Gino has always figured out a way to win. UConn is
Camila Cardoso. I don't want to be disrespectful to pretty lady. I apologize. Even though I'm not sure if you watch our show, but I apologize for calling you Mutombo. That was disrespectful.
If she doesn't, she will soon. If he doesn't,
6'7". I'm apologizing both out of respect and fear I don't want her the way she threw that one girl down on the ground. I'm not really interested in that smoke.
Look, man, in this episode to shake things up, that incident, LSU versus South Carolina in the SEC championship game, the incidents that have happened in the March Madness tournament, including LSU not being out on the floor. There's just a lot of villainhood in this current March Madness environment. And whether you be a villain or a hero, when that ball is put into play, competition ultimately is going to decide who wins. And that's why we love when we see them compete. Any parting word before we get out of here in this Shake Things Up episode, my brother? Let's take him to church.
Pray for me. I got a 7.5-hour drive to Kansas City to watch a baby girl play some volleyball.
Kansas City.
I'm looking forward to the volleyball. I'm not looking forward to the journey. Many miles before I rest.
Hey, man, the things we do for our kids, my brother. I wish you Godspeed on that drive. May you listen to several audiobooks or do something that spends your time well. But enjoy.
Drive is what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to spend my time. I'm going to drive. But you know what, though? I'm glad you said that. I could listen to an audiobook. Thank you.
Audiobook, man. We have ranked now, if you will.
You're on to something.
Yeah, on to something. In this episode, it was quite a journey. We rank the top lyricists because we got a rap beef that is full-fledged. If you're under a rock and didn't realize what just happened, J. Cole just dropped a song in response to a line that he thought was a diss by Kendrick Lamar. Drake is in the wings waiting to participate in some shape, form, or fashion. We ranked the superheroes and talked about all of their powers to overcome villains. And we did so all in the spirit of sports, business, and entertainment as we looked at the Women's March Madness bracket and what's going to happen from here. This weekend, there will be villains, there will be heroes, but there will be winners and losers, more importantly, and we will be back to talk about it next week.
No doubt.
Like we ask you every week, humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, please tag anybody you know, and please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. My man, Big Flow Show, has been in the building from the Middle Coast. I'm your boy, B Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hall, a.k.a. the Mouth of South, a.k.a. Mr. Success Celebration, a.k.a. Reece. I think I'm going to change. I got to add one more, man, because we used to be trustees in my elected position. Now we're councilmen, I think, council people, and I chose councilmen. I'm going to tee it up. I got another one in there I'm going to throw in there, baby, just to add another alias. But I should be described right now, most described as thankful and indebted to all of you for continually supporting what we are doing here. Please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a follow, tag anybody you know. We'll be back next week. It is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen get together and discuss sports in entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only, and that's rough, rugged, and raw. Enjoy y'all weekend, y'all. April is here, and despite the earthquake in New Jersey.
Ain't no fools over here.
Yeah, ain't no fools. Despite the earthquake in New Jersey, the ground was shaking, man. Y'all be safe.
You still on that shit an hour later. You still on that same shit. You still talking about that little earthquake y'all had over there? Come on, man.
5.0,
like
man.
A little earthquake. It was no 5. It was a 4.2. And you done told me my text. We just got hit with a 5.5 earthquake tsunami. Man, little earthquake over there.
Hey, man, they're getting soft.
You shake the leaves off the trees. Let's go.
Man. Hey, been a great show. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all. Y'all have a safe and blessed weekend, man. We is out. Peace.